Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting match in our Challenge Cup. Today we have Nobly versus Scrubcasual. Joining me today are two very capable commentators, as well as iBot as our tracker. So, without further ado, I will turn it over to Cool Papa Bell, and I know I say it wrong, Amaranth.
Close enough.
Yes, good evening, afternoon, or morning, everyone. We are back on Zelda Speedruns with another race in the 2019 Challenge Cup. How are you doing tonight?
I am ready for a good match here between these two. We got them in the second round, I believe. We were just told Scrubcasual took game one.
Yes, and Nobly opted for 6-6 defeat Ganon, so we might see some routing differences there as a result of the crystal requirement. So should be an interesting one.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of 6-6 pick this tournament, and from the matches that have been going on in the main tournament, really interesting things can come up. Either you actually do get to skip one dungeon of your choice, or you're kind of forced into a very specific 6.
Yeah, it's really sort of fascinating to see whether you actually wind up with that choice or not, whether the game wants to give it to you. And right away, we get a blue cane in Link's house.
It'll be interesting to see with the little bit of magic that's available in the castle, with both of them heading up there, if either of them decide to start heading down the front of escape.
Yeah, that might be a little bold with just the small pots in the secret passage, but you never know if they get a lucky full magic drop. They might go for it. Those bombs are nice.
Yeah, definitely, because with about 5 bombs, you can do it all on your own. Plus that Burna, yeah, you could probably make it down there. Don't know if it'd be very comfortable, but definitely doable.
Yeah, the bombs are definitely a big step in that direction. And it looks like we got a vanilla green pendant on Eastern Palace. I think I saw another pendant in Desert and red crystal in Tower of Hera, if I remember correctly.
I did not catch any of those, unfortunately. So if we get a second map check here, I will try to confirm.
And we were talking about maybe a lucky magic refill, but half magic will certainly do that for our runners. And it looks like Nobly is going to go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity to do the front of escape with just that blue cane.
Kind of like this play. Gets us the harder bit of escape out of the way, and maybe you find something useful down there. A lot of times Fire Rod will end up down there, and you just sort of spend the entire seed looking for it.
Yeah, I like this as well. I mean, once you've already invested the time to walk up to the uncle, and you can complete front of escape, I really like doing it. It certainly can be faster if you come back later, but it's pretty comfortable with half magic. So
It looks like our bush crab just has a green rupee on it today. And let's get a quick look at Lumberjack Cave here. I think that was Bombos.
yeah, that's what that looked like to me. We were just talking about, will we get a nice fast seed or will we have to do AGA 1? And we still haven't answered that question because who knows about Bombos?
Yeah, for all we know, Bombos could be our way into a required Ice Palace. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it could also be interesting if it winds up being the entrance to Crystal, Turtle Rock, or Misery Mire. If we wind up there, at what point do you just bite the bullet and do Aghanim to get that medallion? That's a really interesting spot in a 6-6 seed.
Ooh, that's a nice hook shot there in Lost Woods. Certainly be nice for their first trip up the mountain once Nobly gets to there.
Yeah, so far Front of Escape has not panned out. I think just a heart piece and the map in the last keyguard room.
Yeah, not really much for Nobly, unfortunately, out of that play. But at least you have the peace of mind of I'm not abandoning anything in the Front of Escape.
Yeah, exactly. You're probably going to have to do it at some point, so just get it out of the way while you're there. I think is still can feel pretty good about that.
Let's see, Nobly looking like he's heading towards South Shore already, trying to put off Kakariko for as long as possible, it looks like. trying to take advantage of seeing if he could find like any sort of bottle or flute or any other sort of side quest to finish while he goes to Kakariko the first time and just route it out of the way.
Yeah, I think this is good with the sort of equipment that you've got. You got the bombs, you have this blue cane. The South Shore Mini Moldorm Cave and the dam are very doable right now, and if you can find that bottle or flute, you're really excited to go to Kakariko second.
Yeah, that was a red crystal on Hera, green pendant on Eastern, and a red pendant in Desert. Yes, just confirmed. Bunch of checks all happening at once. That was a nice moon pearl there for Nobly. Be able to do some fake flipper checks if he decides to. And that's a hammer in the well for Scrub.
All right, so Aghanim not looking like too much of a worry at this point, since we are 2/3 of the way to traditional Dark World access with that hammer and moon pearl in sight.
Yeah, just need to find that glove. Though it is still possible that both gloves are buried deep somewhere in the Dark World. And Nobly's just got to be really careful here because he doesn't really have much health going into the back of these crabs towards Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, I would just be turning on that blue cane right now, personally.
So he's going to take a quick aside to the fairy fountain here. That's magic powder on the sick kid. We already can do magic bath, so Scrubcasual probably going to head that way once he's finished here.
Yeah, that's a very generous Kakariko to get 2 bottles now, leading to powder plus hammer, so you can get all of these checks out of the way right off the bat. Of course, we are seeing a little bit of the downside of Nobly's play to go to South Shore first, because when you find Moon Pearl in Mini Moldorm Cave, you usually are going to think about whether you want to fake Flipper and do Waterfall Cave and Zora, but Nobly a little bit short on cash because has not been able to make too many checks yet.
That's correct. And having picked up a 300, Scrubcasual's at least a good portion on the way there, so depending on what he finds, if he decides to go to the dam first before the rest of South Shore, he may be in good for doing his Zora checks.
And that was a save and quit from Scrubcasual out of the Magic Bat Cave. I do not think that they got down to the library and the race game. That's an interesting sort of route to take there.
They did not, but that is a mirror on the Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, that's a real good payoff for that sequence break. Oh, and there's our first glove in the dam as Scrubcasual shows off the hookshot clip to only make 1 trip into the dam here, and we have Dark World access already.
Yep, 7 minutes in, Dark World. Hey, I'll take it. The world is your oyster. Become paralyzed with all the options that you have available to you now. And Nobly looking like he's going to make a walk back towards Lake Hylia Island and Hobo, see what's going on over there at least before he finishes his water checks here. That's Canis Amari on Lake Hylia Island. So Flipper's
Wowza.
double required to get that cane there.
Yeah, so those flippers are definitely going to be something on our runners' minds because those are a huge part of the logic for this seed. I also have to say I really like this routing from Nobly. He knew he was not going to be able to go all the way to Zora, so he actually did the waterfall cave first and then used the water walk coming out of that waterfall cave to get to Hobo. So that actually worked out really well.
That's also a Flipper's required Quake. So a lot of stuff behind Flippers today.
Yeah, and those medallions do feel like they're going to be pretty important because Turtle Rock and Misery Mire are most likely crystals since 2 of our pendants are in the light world. So those will definitely come into play later on.
Although if one of them's a pendant and one of them's a crystal, we may be able to skip the one that's a crystal, so we shall see.
And the usual backtracking that we're going to see here as our runners just switch places. Scrubcasual, I think, has not been to Ice Rod Cave, but I don't recall that being anything too interesting.
No, it was just a 5 rupee.
So Scrubcasual opted out of that fake flipper pretty early on, just did Hobo, which is sort of the opposite of what you often see. You often see runners skip Hobo to get to Waterfall Cave faster, but is very tempted by that legitimate Dark World access that he's got, that was just pretty much calling him to head back in the Hype Cave direction. So
Yeah, I can't really blame him. That's so many just in logic checks just to go straight for maybe finding, your first sword, or maybe the bow, start clearing out, Palace of Darkness, whatever sort of just ends up in logic after all these checks.
yeah, and the Northeast flipper checks, if you find the mirror, which of course Scrub is not going to, you can sometimes route those in with Catfish and add a little bit more value to that check. But of course, Scrubcasual is never going to have that mirror since it's hiding in Waterfall Cave.
Just out of reach. Looks like Scrubcasual is going to continue on check Stumpy and the digging game here. There's our second glove.
Whew, our runners are just zeroing in on the value here. 6 seeds are usually fast, but they go even faster when you just, God route the whole thing.
Yeah, when the seed just decides, hey, I'm just going to lay out all the items for you just perfectly. Seeds just sort of blow up, and you just like, well, here we go. And there's our Dark World map check. We got Turtle Rock as a red crystal.
And the other pendant was in Pod, I believe, so...
That was correct. So everything else being just a regular old blue crystal.
So who wants a swordless swamp trip? We actually could full clear it at this point, so...
And what are those out of the dig game? We got ourselves some boots. It's time to start going fast.
Man,
So
Rando is
Scrub,
gonna Rando.
Oh right, we did get gloves, so we can just walk right up into Thieves Town here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rando is gonna Rando. Sometimes you just last location everything, and then sometimes this happens. Scrubcasual is really finding the items at an amazing pace so far.
Yeah, I would really be favoring Scrubcasual's routing here right now. If he had actually gone the trip up to Waterfall Ferry and gotten that mirror as well, he'd be in an amazing position. Drop off that blacksmith. There's his first sword. Make an easy trip out of Thieves Town once he drops blacksmith off.
Yeah, and we'll see if Nobly shows us the race game and library here. You have to expect that Scrubcasual has that in mind, and that's part of why he's excited to do or opting to do the Smith right away, because he knows he's got checks in Kakariko that he can head back to. So it's going to actually work out pretty well for him to have saved that time, since he is going to be back through Kakariko very soon.
Gonna skip out on that shield and hammer pegs. Both these runners don't really need shields. One of those things that you'll only pick it up if it's right in your way and you're forced to take it. Alright, so a quick look at the library and race game here. Just 20 up on the library ledge.
And I think Scrubcasual is going to be just about out of things to do with that Smith on his tail. Looks like we're going to go up to Bumper Ledge and take a look at that one. But I would probably expect to save and quit after that.
Yep, nothing important up on there. And also nothing really important out of the racing game. So I'm curious to see where Nobly goes from here. Probably get his hype cave check in and maybe start routing towards that southwest Dark World.
Yeah, that's what I would be leaning toward. When you've got that mirror, oh, he's still got the dam to do. But yeah, when you've got that mirror and you can get Cave 45 and sort of clear out that south portion of Dark World, I really like that start. Will be extremely pleasantly surprised to pick up the mitts along the way.
And it's kind of sort of got to be wondering on the back of his mind, like, should I be hitting that the portal over here now and just go right into swamp? Because you know everyone likes to do green mail for Heart Swamp.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. All right, and so Scrubcasual got the back 3 chests of escape. Left Dark Cross, but I actually was not keeping close enough track. I don't know if that's the key or not.
Was it
But
just
that
3 items in the back there?
I don't know. It was all garbage. It was nothing interesting, so I might have lost track of what they were.
Because I know I just glanced at it and the same thing was like it was all just garbage. I think the key is in Dark Cross.
Nope. Chat's telling us there was a key in back of escape, so that Dark Cross item is still there. Of course, not in logic yet without any sort of fire source, but those one-off isolated checks are things that will definitely be weighing on our runners' minds a little bit, as Nobly clears out the not-so-exciting Hype Cave, but looks like he is going to continue on in the Dark World to the west, so he'll be very happy with what he finds over there. And then question from chat about the mirror. Nobly fake flippered up to Waterfall Cave, which Scrubcasual opted out of at the time. So we will see how much of an advantage that turns into for Nobly. Ooh, takes an unfortunate death there in the Dark World. That's the flip side of getting your 10-minute Dark World access, is that you're there with 5 hearts and green mail.
And everything is just Pain Town.
The ones that really got to me when I started running NMG were those weird chompy things that are right below the pyramid. Those things just hit like a truck.
Oh yeah, they hit for like I think 2 or 3 hearts each on green mail. It was just like, wow, did we really have to make those so difficult? Yep, there is that key in Dark Cross there. Or back of escape there, so yes, there is an item in Dark Cross. I know how to words.
Good to know chat's not leading us astray yet.
So Scrub's gonna take the dip into Skull Woods here. Kind of like it just to see if you can't fish out any of the 2 items real quick before you step on over to Thieves Town, because 5 heart Thieves Town is a little dangerous.
Yeah, normally in Rando, you get so many items so quickly that you wind up in safer shape than you are in a standard speed run. But this is definitely going to be harder than NMG if he goes into Thieves Town with this level of equipment.
And that is, I believe, our third bottle. Got a bottle with a B. And nope, you cannot go that way. You are locked in here. You either have to die or save and quit, Scrub. Or take the Wall Master out. The unfortunate part about that room not having a guaranteed key anymore.
And going to get a high five from the runners here as Nobly is also opting for this Skull Woods dip on his first trip into the Dark World. Or at least this side of the Dark World.
And we'll get a quick check here in just a second about what that big key is. Big key chat. Oh wait, we already got that? I looked away for like half a second, it's already checked.
Yeah, just a full heart in there, so
Okay,
not
so that's
exactly what
both items
Scrubcasual
on
was looking for,
Skullwoods.
but yes, we do have both of those items out of there, and I guess that Scrub won't mind that too much, because having 6 hearts into Thieves Town is certainly better than 5.
Absolutely, especially if you can find at least one more in Thieves Town, or maybe a blue mail upgrade would be nice.
Nice swordless bomb jump lineup from Nobly there.
So far, not all too exciting in the front of Thieves Town yet. And Nobly just going to run over real fast and check Graveyard Ledge. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the boots and can't route in Bumper, or not Bumper, Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb.
Yeah, that death in South Dark World is really hurting at this point, because you would just love to have the mitts or the boots, or preferably both at this point. Just makes walking through that dark graveyard a little bit easier, and would open up these other 2 checks up on the north side.
Over Graveyard Ledge, just a couple bombs, so not really worth the trip.
Yeah, that early mirror has not really proven to be much of an advantage just yet, unfortunately.
Did we get to see K45 out of Nobly yet, or did he die before he got there?
Yeah, died before he got there, unfortunately.
Well, he'll hopefully be able to route it in once he's done with checking around Thieves Town and working the purple chest south.
Oh, an interesting choice. Nobody's going to sequence break Death Mountain. While he's in the area, just going to head up there and see what we can find. Not a bad choice with the hookshot and the hammer. You can basically clear out the entire light world of Death Mountain.
Yep, and get a Hera out of the way, which is one of your 5/6 crystals.
Yeah, so a little bit of upside there, although it's going to be a while before we get Turtle Rock done. But Not the easiest sequence break to do without a sword, but making good use of that hook shot to keep track of where he is in that old man cave and gets through it pretty easily.
I know, I keep looking way over to Nobly at just the wrong times. Doesn't look like we found too much out of Thieves Town other than at least one more heart piece or container to fill up another heart. I believe
Yeah,
Blind potentially has the last item unless it's the compass.
yeah, I believe there is one more item on blind. So, but yeah, I don't think we have seen anything over on that side of the world just yet.
Oh, but this should be a super easy blind between having half magic and Myrna.
Yeah, Scrub's on script through the first phase, but that blue cane backup is pretty foolproof.
Yep, and that is a bow there in Paradox Gate for Nobly. Wonder if that'll push him towards checking out Eastern and Pod, see if there's anything useful in there. That's a flute on blind. It'd be really nice if you have that mirror for Scrubcasual right about now.
Yeah, this is just an interesting setup for this race because nobody has that sequence broken mirror, and anything he finds here on Death Mountain, he knows is out of sequence. So he'll sort of have to try and piece that logic together from what he's got. Meanwhile, Scrubcasual continuing to find some good value in the village of outcasts that nobly opted away from in favor of this Death Mountain trip.
Scrub just gonna save and quit with that purple chest. We'll start at Link's house and go turn it in from there. We'll save himself a bit of a walk. Or we're gonna take it up to the north somewhere. Oh, we're gonna go activate Flute and then go that way. Okay, makes sense. Got it.
I believe that was a big old 20 on the Death Mountain floating island. And the goose is officially loose, ladies and gentlemen, so get your honks in chat, I guess.
And with that flute and those gloves, we are gonna go check out the Mire area, check out what the pendant is, get in there. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll find some flippers here in like Desert Pals or something for a quick couple items.
Yeah, Blink.
Be able to get that mirror or the red cane off of Lake Hiley Island.
Yeah, we definitely that red cane on the island is very interesting to see where that is early, but not be able to get there. And it's really fascinating how our runners just keep managing to be in spots where they would really dearly love to have an item that their opponent has. That mirror would come in very handy in the Mire area, and as chat points out, nobody would really love to have mitts up on Death Mountain, but is going to head into the Tower of Hera here, which we can full clear. Well, I shouldn't say that. If we need fire for the basement, we might be in some trouble. I do not know if Nobly can Hera pot, but it's definitely possible with the equipment that he's got. Yep, that's what he's going for right now.
I'll certainly have to learn the lineup for this. It's one of the tricks that's just like on my to-do list.
I swear I have not seen any two people do it the same way yet. So nobody nails that on the first try, which is good because he was pretty low on health.
And it's pretty convenient to learn because if I'm not mistaken, it is overall faster if you can get it on the first try than just straight up walking up.
Yeah, even if you don't need to go to the basement, it still does save you time on the climb, especially if you're bad at para like I am. So,
But I don't know what you mean. I've never failed the bomb over the big chest.
yeah, I've
Absolutely
definitely
not.
never had to hack away at those stupid bumper things with my fighter sword for like 10 minutes or anything.
No, never. And that's some silver arrows off of the troll dorm. There's both sides of the parrot as well.
So both bows were up on the mountain lot behind that flute, logically speaking. Still no idea where the lamp is.
Well, at this point, with gloves and Dark World access being where it was, that lamp could literally be anywhere, even as far in as Turtle Rock. Looks like we're going to get a spike cave check out of Nobly here.
The other thing that's really unfortunate for Nobly at this point is just, oh, there's the lamp. Wow.
Speaking of,
Lamp and Spike Cave, and you can see on his particular stream, Nobly is taking a second to think about what that means logically. So he knows that the flute is out there in the world somewhere, and that's how we were supposed to get up to Death Mountain.
though unfortunately with that knowledge, it's still the same thing about, the reverse lamp of what I said earlier. It could literally be anywhere that except up on Death Mountain. As far as he knows.
Yeah, it looks like he's headed back towards the Kakariko portal, so is probably thinking of Thieves Town in that area, since there aren't really many item requirements to get there.
A very good, and in this case, very correct play, because that is indeed where the flute is, and if he continues on that track, he'll also find his gloves.
And also those boots, which I think were in the bombable hut in the Dark
Digging
Village.
game.
Digging game, that's right.
Yes, it was digging game, after like almost 30 digs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is the finding of the lamp interrupted me, is that every second that Scrubcasual has those boots and Nobly doesn't, you're just losing time just on pure speed that you can run around the map, so he'll be happy to find those as soon as possible. I think it's the first sword, actually, that's in the bombable hut down here.
I believe you're correct on that, yes. Scrubcasual making his way through his Moldorm fight. Trying to pound the giant centipede bug. Will be happy and relieved to see his silver arrows.
So at this point, it seems like this race is going to come down to if Scrubcasual is building up enough of a lead with the way he's been following the logic around and it's been working out for him, that he can find that mirror in time to catch up with Nobly. Or since I guess there hasn't really been anything, I was about to say, wait, there hasn't really been anything too important behind that mirror, but I forgot about that red cane on the Hylia Island. So we will definitely need the mirror to finish this seed.
Yes, and I'm sure, or at least very hopeful that once Scrubcasual actually does have his flippers, that he decides to go make those flipper checks, and will have his mirror and put everything in logic, go get that red key, and get on going.
Yeah, this is the weird thing about 6/6 seeds is sometimes you just think, maybe I just won't do swamp and I won't need that mirror. But with the mirror essentially locking 3 of our crystals at this point, since the red cane is hiding behind it as well, that's a pretty key item for this particular seed.
Question chat, where were Boots and Mitts? Boots were on the digging game, and Mitts are on Stumpy.
This is just really painful for Nobly, the way Rando works sometimes, because he left behind about half a dozen checks in, Fire Rod in Super Bunny Cave. Nobly left behind about half a dozen checks in the Village of Outcasts in favor of that Death Mountain trip, which has, 15 or so items that he found. And of course, the items he actually wanted were down in those half dozen checks. So just the way it works out sometimes.
Yes, but it did also give him the information that he needs to start pushing towards that those South Dark World checks, and he will quickly find his items there once he gets there.
And there were the flippers in the Hookshot Cave for Scrubcasual. So moment of truth quickly approaching of how fast does Scrubcasual move toward those flippers checks.
Did Scrubcasual check the Lake Hylia Island? Do we know yet?
I think he looked at it on his way to Hobo, because he did do that one fake flipper check early on.
Okay, so he likely knows it's there, so he'll probably head and do those fake flipper checks right after this, I bet.
Although he doesn't have the mirrors, so he might be thinking, I'm going to put off flippers until I find that mirror, which would be a little bit rough.
A little bit devastating, yeah. Because it'll be a while before you find that mirror, because it's behind the flippers. So far, it is looking like we'll be able to skip either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, depending on whether we find Ether or Ice Rod, and then whatever medallion was Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I did not see if Scrubcasual checked that out, probably thinking that he wants to avoid Turtle Rock at all costs, but that might not be possible if we can't find Ether to get into Misery Mire. But yeah, you're right, the Skullwoods Crystal is definitely the preferred one out of the ones that are left. That'll be the fastest since we have the Fire Rod.
And Ice Palace and Swamp Palace can be go mode with enough, wand. We should say that they're quick enough.
Yeah, people always talk about wanting to go mode Swamp, but I think go mode Ice feels like the biggest difference between having to full clear it and getting to just breeze through it.
Yeah, I think the difference in Go Mode Ice is about 3 to 4 minutes. Nobly picking up his flute. Quickly mirror and activate that, I'm sure.
Oh man, our tracker in chat coming up with very terrible ideas. Yeah, we have seen Bombos on the Lumberjack ledge. So if that showed up as the medallion for entry into Turtle Rock, that would be a difficult choice put in front of our runners of when do you choose to do Aga for that.
Yeah, just when do you decide, I'm gonna bite that bullet, go kill Lag, and get that Bombos.
All right, so Nobly is a little bit closer to being in logic now. Those 2 bows he found up on Death Mountain are now sort of resolved by having the flute. Those bows, by the way, I think are what led Scrubcasual over to the pod eastern area. Getting both bows and the lamp in rapid succession sort of make you think, I wonder if I'm supposed to be doing something with these bows.
Very likely thought, just because Pod tends to have something in it, especially when it's a pendant.
Yeah, there's just so many items over here.
Like, I absolutely would not be surprised to find Ether or the Ice Rod over here in Pod.
Also, I think our light world was so fast that neither of our runners actually made it to Sahasrara, so this is just a pretty loaded area, even if you have to dip a couple of pendant dungeons.
Yeah, once again, Scrub would be in a lot better position if he had that mirror, but so far things seem to be working out for him pretty well.
Yeah, once again, that mirror really helps out with your routing in pod, but he'll just have to work around that as Nobly finally finds those boots. I think Nobly would also want us to point out that he did duck into the archery game just to leave a bomb on that guy. I'm not sure what that's about, but he clearly wants his opinion of the archery game guy known far and wide.
Probably in relation to a prior game and needing money, I would bet. And there's Nobly's gloves. Gonna backtrack a little bit and finish out that Smith chain before he goes to the rest of South Shore.
Yeah, he's probably feeling pretty okay about Cave 45 coming up empty since he just missed that from that unfortunate overworld death before, but the mitts on Stumpy are going to sting a little bit, knowing how much earlier he could have gotten those. Scrubcasual just about finished up with Pod, is setting up a death warp by taking a little damage in the dark maze.
It's always just that last hope that that last chest doesn't have like a full heart or the sand cart when you're trying to set up that death warp. It's never a good feeling.
Yeah, and then you gotta chase the things around the dark maze. Their name suddenly left my head, and just like beg them to damage you.
I believe they are Kodongos.
Kodongos, that's right. I couldn't even think of Dodongo suddenly. I don't know why. Interesting. Looks like Scrubcasual is going to take the gamble and head down toward Helma, even though this is a pendant dungeon. So, interesting choice he's making here. I'm not so sure about this one, to be quite honest.
Yeah, so unfortunately it's not even the green pendant, so maybe it's just on a hunch, because sometimes you get those bad feelings. It's just like, well, because I've had those before, where it's just, if I don't follow this bad feeling, it's going to go terrible, but maybe is the one thing that actually pays off. Because we did have that hammer super early, and then getting both bows.
Yeah, I think I would much rather see him if he's trying to read into the bow. I would just mirror back to the light world and do Eastern Palace, and then you could just duck into back into pod from there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Jinxie, our restreamer, pointing out he has it mistracked on his tracker.
Yeah, that'll get you sometimes.
Yep, and that would definitely explain why he was sort of beelining for this. That makes total sense if you think this is a crystal dungeon, but just an unlucky mistrack there.
I did not see where he picked up that sword upgrade. I'm guessing that was in the back of pod here, at least. Dark Maze, got it. Scrub about to get his pendant of disappointment.
I think Nobly is trying to sequence break the cane right now, or because I don't believe you can. Can you do this while water walking? Yes, you can. Not while fake flippering. Oh, eats a fireball. So he set up a water walk in the Skull Woods area to jump through the whirlpool and just unfortunately took some damage right there and got knocked into the water. So is not able to sneak his way to that Cane of Samaria early.
Almost, but not quite. And it looks like Scrub is probably going to be checking all the flipper checks here after this Ice Rod Cave, unless he flutes away. We'll find out. Runners love to prove me wrong.
Yeah, so assuming he finds that mirror, I expect we'll see him going into Swamp soon. It does open up a couple of overworld checks, but I think a Crystal Dungeon is a lot more tempting than, just running around to Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge. But let's see. Picking up some potions, that might be a sign that he's headed toward Ice Palace.
Yeah, with at least a Master Sword, that's not a terrible play. I definitely wouldn't want to be going into Ice Palace with only Fighter Sword.
Yeah, and he still has the option to, of course, just jump through this whirlpool, check out things up in the Zora area, and then come back to Ice Palace right after that. So that might be the plan. Nope, headed straight into Ice.
Getting a redo on his map check there. Also, realization, he can't do Swamp Palace because he doesn't have the mirror. So his options are actually getting really limited here because he doesn't have the mirror to do Swamp Palace. There's no items left in Skull Woods. So that's why he's probably figuring Ice is the play.
Yeah, I was thinking he would do the flipper checks and then he would have the mirror, but yeah, without that, he's pretty much down to those flipper checks, this Ice Palace dip, and I guess Front of Escape. So it's really hard to argue with doing a crystal dungeon that you can full clear. Like that's just almost
As much
never
as
a
you
bad
want to
play.
go mode it.
Yeah, it's really easy for us to say, go find that mirror because we know where it is. But to Scrubcasual, crystals really make sense.
Ooh, that was close on Nobly's side. Almost got hit there.
makes it to that red cane. That's entertaining that the game tried to throw him into the water there because it got very confused about where he was. Yeah, that's not really a fake flipper or water walk that you see too often.
Nobly maybe banking on just trying to have Swamp Palace as his crystal that he skips. Because Mire, well, he can't open Mire until he gets Ether, but Mire is technically full clearable once he does have it. Can do a quick dip into Desert Sea if he does find the Ether medallion here, or...
And yeah, I think this would make a lot more sense if he had the fire and ice rod and it was just like, oh, I don't want to go searching for the flippers forever. I'll just kind of skip my way around them. But yeah, it can just be so difficult in rando, especially in the moment when you're under the pressure of all the tournament to sort of think about what's the absolute best thing to do. And you just sort of think to yourself, like, okay, if I do the sequence break, I can save myself, you know, I can go and clear this dungeon right now. And he can pick up the desert items and full clear Mire at the same time. That might feel like his most appealing option rather than going for some sort of one-off checks to try and hunt down those flippers.
Yeah, as well as basically trying to get that Kingdom Mario to sort of fish out some information of like, well, this item is now behind Flippers and Kingdom of Mario, so just sort of get a little information out on the logic, and accidentally dodging the duck there on Nobly's side. Gonna head up the mountain here. It looks like find his fire rod and flippers, put all back into sequence for him, and maybe even check out the Turtle Rock medallion. We'll get to see whether we have to go get Bombos or not.
Yeah, that would definitely be good information to have. But if he's coming up to Death Mountain at this point, that makes it even a little bit more curious that he spent all that time to sequence break to get to Cane of Samaria. If your plan was not to go to Mire right away, the Dark Death Mountain checks were definitely the best item density that he had left. So I might have done this before that longish sequence break.
True, but like you said, in the moment, might get fixated on doing a certain path before realizing, oh, right, I could have done this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing how, you know, the things that you forget about or just don't occur to you in the moment when you're under the stress of a tournament race.
And Chat makes a good point. If he goes up with Kane to Turtle Rock, and he does find the fire rod like he did, and maybe even the ice rod like he may inside of Turtle Rock if he decides to dip it, then he can just finish it out while he's there. Turtle Rock requires Quake, which we do have.
All right, so this is not too bad of an option. Going into Turtle Rock with the fire rod, you're guaranteed to be able to do a fair bit of this dungeon. Pretty much everything but Vidi you can get through. Trinax you can get through. And you can always hope for that ice rod on laser bridge that everybody loves.
Because, hey, sometimes it's just there.
Meanwhile, Scrubcasual is most of the way through Ice Palace with nothing much to show for it item-wise, but is on his way down to Cold Stare and collecting another crystal.
Scrub making some very good use of those fire rod shots to take out the cold stare puffs.
Yeah, Master Sword Cold Stare, not the most fun thing in the world, but the half magic makes it a little bit more palatable, and Scrubcasual will collect his third crystal of this race.
Alrighty, so if you're Scrub, here's hoping that he... Oh wait, no, I was going to say, here's hoping he mirrors and then goes and does those flipper checks, but can't quite do that.
Yeah, about that mirror thing.
I think that's been like the repeat of this whole entire match so far is, well, Scrub can just mirror and go get his mirror. Oh wait, no he can't. Okay, he flew to date. That's definitely flipper checks, yes. Or are we just going back and buying bombs? That looks like flipper checks in Zora. Yes, we are getting the mirror.
We will also get to see what the scammer fish has for sale today, since Nobly was a little bit short on rupees when he came up here the first time.
For lucky, it's ether.
I guess we should also say, now that we've seen that Quake on Turtle Rock, F's in chat for Aghanim. We will see no Aga runs today, because we just have no reason to deal with the wizard.
No need to go all out of the way for bombos. Just $20 out of the scam fish, of course.
And Turtle Rock seems to be doing its best Palace of Darkness impression today. We've pretty much just found keys in the front parts so far. And we will see where Scrubcasual flutes to after restocking on potions and health.
Looking like he's gonna check. I think he checked Meyer's Shed already, so probably checkerboard cave and a dip into desert, since we've already sort of committed on the pendant things a little bit with full clearing out pot accidentally.
Yeah, of course, you sometimes will just dip into desert like it's an item cave. I don't really have to commit to full clearing the whole thing.
Chat asking, is Ice Rod or Ether Go mode? Yes, that is pretty much the items we're hunting for at this moment. And Nobly technically needs to find his second sword. It's looking like Scrub is going to make the play into Swamp Palace, being one of his only dungeon options that has items left in it.
And the way this Turtle Rock has been working out for Nobly, it looks like Swamp has the higher likelihood of having some progression for us at this point, but
That's an
Ice
Rod.
Rod in the big chest. So this gamble paying off for Nobly as he finds that Ice Rod halfway through Turtle Rock and can now complete the dungeon and pick up his third crystal, putting him in go mode.
Or at the very least, sword mode.
Ah, that's true.
But who knows? Could be a sword here in Swamp Palace here and that he'll find. Could be 2 swords up in Ganon's Tower. There's plenty of places he can still find a sword.
Interesting to note, both of our runners are still on green mail, though, so the seed has not been particularly generous as far as defensive items go.
And our restreamer placing a curse upon the runners, hoping that the sword is at Sahasrahla, being that neither runner has checked him out yet. And aside from that ice rod, nothing super amazing here on Laser Bridge.
Yep, as Nobly does opt for that safety door, going into a hammer-only Trinex fight, do not blame the runner at all for that one. It's definitely a much trickier fight than if you have Tempered.
Yeah, but at least he has half magic, so... And that's literacy in Swamp Palace there for Scrub. Which will unfortunately push him a little bit away from that ice rod there in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we have desert access already, so it really just opens up the tablets, but of course you very often will want to do bombos coming right out of Swamp Palace since you're right there.
Although we may get a pedestal check out of Scrub once he goes and does the Moth.
I like the strats from Nobly there in the Trinex fight with half magic. As long as you get through the fire head in relatively quick fashion, you can just spam those fire rod shots at the ice head and not mess with menuing back and forth to the hammer.
Yeah, especially since that ice head can just be so trolly, especially once it gets moving around and just goes all over the place and does not want to get hit. Nobody's gonna have to be a little bit careful here. He needs, I believe, 2 more hammer hits before... Nope, 1 more, he got it.
Ooh, big old sigh of relief from Nobly there, but picks up the 3rd crystal out of Turtle Rock and really is just looking for a sword to be able to finish 6 crystals and get into Ganon's Tower. Although I don't know how you feel, I'm definitely of the opinion that if you're in this sort of sword mode, I don't particularly go looking for swords. This deep into a seed, if you haven't found anything past Fighter Sword, there's a decent chance that GT will have one for you.
At least 1, if not 2.
And then, of course, you can always come back to the overworld checks later after defeating Aga 2, so...
So both our runners making their way through Swamp Palace. Now 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end.
And And Scrubcasual did opt for left side on the first trip through. We'll see if Nobly follows suit. Nope, even skipping the first chest. So Nobly is really thinking go mode.
Yeah, like I said, can't blame him. Because that Ice Rod find was really good.
Yeah, you gotta feel good about that one. It's really hard when you're playing a rando seed and sort of have no idea what decisions your opponent made, but when you make that Ice Rodless Turtle Rock dip and it pays off huge like that, you have to feel really good.
Yeah, you just gotta press the advantage and just hope that's like, yes, this is the reason that I came out on top. I made the gamble and it worked.
And Scrubcasual nails that silver arrow on the last phase of Argus. Opted for the Master Sword on the Puffs, but Nobly will pretty much have to do the menu fight or sword spins with the Fighter Sword.
So Scrub probably gonna go check out the Bombos tablet here. Be very interesting if he actually finds the Ether tablet here. Because then we'll have ourselves a race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm pulling for. I want Scrub to find Ether, and then we'll get some difference in the crystal dungeons actually completed by our runners. Another interesting point here, as Scrub just finds a big 20 on that Bombos tablet, is Nobly's probably a little bit less worried about looking for swords, knowing that he's got those silver arrows in his back pocket. If you're staring down the face of Master Sword Silverless, you might be a little bit more keen to find Tempered, but Master Sword Silvers is a completely different story. It's still annoying, but worlds easier than having to do sword spins all the way through.
True. It's just the worry of when am I going to find that second sword and hope that it's in GT. Alright, Scrubcasual, where are you heading to? What are we looking for here? Thinking he's going and checking the Pyramid Ledge and then maybe Catfish.
Oh, no.
And also,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm going and picking up his Canis and Mario. Might want that.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful.
So Scrub gonna go up, kill the moth, take a couple minutes to think because he has both items out of Skull Woods here, and then probably check the pedestal and see what's going on with that. As Nobly gets his fourth crystal.
Yeah, and Mothula will be number 5 for Scrubcasual. So right now he's definitely thinking, when do I just dive into Turtle Rock and hope to find the Ice Rod there? It's a tough decision to make. I don't know about you, but I've definitely lost races going both ways on that particular guess.
Yeah, it's one of those, you lose if you make that guess, and you lost if you didn't make that guess, so which way do you want to take it? Which way is it going to be today that I didn't guess right? So probably gonna see a pretty fast go mode Ice Palace here out of Nobly. Maybe check a couple of the chests along the way. Like I definitely wouldn't put him out to check the Pengator room or the Freezor room, just because they're on the way.
And Scrubcasual breezing toward the moth, comes out of that torch room with pretty much full magic, so we'll be able to spam those fire rod shots during the boss fight.
Light that moth aflame.
Even outside of the damage, it's just really handy to have those fire rod shots to knock Mothula off the top of the room when he's stuck up there.
Yeah, or just get a quick shot in to interrupt him trying to attack. It's usually what I do with Moth, is just try and make sure that he never gets the attack, so all I have to do is focus on dodging spikes. So let's see, do we get a mirror and a ped check out of Scrubcasual here? Looks like maybe. He might have miscounted the items.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do when you checked the front of Skullwood so long ago, to lose track of how many things are actually left in here. Nobly, meanwhile, is having a little bit of trouble with that Ice Palace bomb jump. The lineup does look a little bit different if you use the sword to line yourself up on the bomb, because the fighter sword just doesn't sit in quite the same place as Master Sword or higher does.
Just couch cash there on the pedestal today, so... Scrub, where are you gonna go after this? Imagine, since he has that miscount on the items, or did he finish? Was that the last check in Skullwoods there with the back chest?
I believe so. He's got that marked on his tracker that Skullwoods is empty now, so...
Okay, so if you're Scrubcasual, where do you go from here?
So this is handy that we can see the map tracker on Scrub's stream. I mean, he does still have Front of Escape and Dark Cross left to do. Eastern Palace and Sahasrara at this point. But, so yeah, it's just a question of whether you want to chase down those last few overworld checks or just pull the trigger on that Turtle Rock dip.
Gonna be disappointed to find just the 3 bombs up here on Graveyard Ledge.
And if Master Sword, Cold Stare is painful, Fighter Sword is even worse. So we'll definitely exhaust those Fire Rod shots, and we'll see if he sticks with the Fighter Sword spins, or nope, we're going to switch to Hammer. A little bit more dangerous, but much more damage, of course.
Especially on Green Mail with 4 hearts of damage from each puff, but gets it in. For Nobly's 5th crystal. All he has to do is pop over to Skullwoods there, take out the moth, and he can start heading up Ganon's Tower. Meanwhile, Scrub looks like he's checking out Ether Talent, and then we'll probably dip into Turtle Rock here and get his Ice Rod. and actually be on his way to Ganon's Tower as well, so we may yet still have a race.
Yeah, I think you've definitely got to give the edge to Nobly in this case, since all he has to do is just run toward that Mothula and Skull Woods, but he's still betting on finding a sword somewhere along the way in Ganon's Tower, so definitely a concern for him going forward.
Yes, and while Scrub does have to clear out the entirety of Turtle Rock, if he finds the same sword that Nobly does, that's Master Sword versus Tempered Sword, and that's a huge difference.
So Scrub getting dead rocked a bit there, but I think just scrolled them off the screen to get them to move out of the way faster, so is into Turtle Rock right now. Or at least opening the door to it.
I imagine he goes in and he just starts the full clear. He's already done Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave. You're up here explicitly just to check out Turtle Rock because you've got really nothing else.
Yeah.
You feel like if what you're looking for is an Eastern Sarashal at this point, you've lost.
Yeah, I wonder if both of our runners are thinking that man, if what I need is on Sahasrahla, I'm boned anyway, but it's funny that they're both leaving that check.
Boy, it'll be a kick in the teeth if two swords are back there behind all that.
I think we know what our restreamer wants on that score, so.
I mean, I'm kind of following it at this point, right?
Nobly waiting out a Wallmaster drop there to not get 1.0 falling into the pit.
And that is the 6th crystal for Nobly. He'll be heading up the mountain here shortly and heading into Ganon's Tower.
Which means that Jinxie, our restreamer, has gotten the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game going in chat. There are 22 locations in the Ganon's Tower where that big key might be. And if you would care to guess where that big key is going to show up, we will count based on the first runner to enter Ganon's Tower. And of course, the winner wins a fabulous prize like a lifetime supply of rando seeds.
Or potentially even just a bunch of points, depending on this particular bot works. So let's see, what number are you betting on today?
Man, I'm going to go 9. I usually go 9.
I think I will go full evil today and go 22.
Ouch. You're a cruel, cruel person.
Absolutely.
It's like your Twitch chat or something.
Let me actually put in the command correctly this time. Hey Wes, I don't spend that much time with Math Girl. We just both know when it's going to be tile room. You took that bet, and you won on that bet. Scrub almost at the base of the tower here, or Nobly almost at the base of the tower here, while Scrub, I'm sorry, is about to pick up his ice rod.
Yeah, Scrubcasual doing this little optimization Oh, no, check the big chest before you go to... You really should, in this situation, check the big chest before you go to Mimic Cave, just because you only need this one item, and if it happens to be in the big chest, which it is, it saves you this annoying Mimic Cave check.
Yeah, it's one of the few niche cases where it's like that couple seconds to just do that check real fast versus the like 30 seconds to do Mimic Cave.
As Nobly is into Ganon's Tower, and we will see the first item on the Bob's Torch, just a small key.
And there is Scrubcasual's Ice Rod, and there is his go mode. He just has the back half of Turtle Rock here to complete, and he will be on his way to Ganon's Tower.
Check number 2 is another small key. 3, another small key. 10 arrows, and finally some armor, as we find blue mail on check number 5.
Nobly taking the hint of the massive amount of key is going to head right side. Finds the other mail.
I mean, Ganon is pretty dumb for just leaving all these helpful items in various places around the world, but I feel like hiding the armor is a pretty good strategic choice for him.
Yeah, but you think you would hide it in places where these runners are likely to not look, like, you know, the big key, the big chest in your tower. I mean, why not? You're going through the effort of putting it in the tower.
And Nobly making the tile room play. So this will be check number 8. For a big old pile of cash, but not really any opportunity to use that left in this seed.
So let's see, I've lost track of what number we're on. Are we going into 7 here?
I think 9, because we had
Torch 4.
1 plus 5 plus 2. Oh, that was number 9 in tile room, I believe.
Tile room was 8, so this is 9.
Oh yes, 8 in tile room. Correct. Thank you, chat.
And 12 is a cape. Another very nice find. Make this Ganon fight super easy once Nobly does manage to find that sword that is hopefully here. And Nobly looking like he's gonna head for the full right. Don't really see that often.
Yeah, again, an interesting choice when you are looking for a sword as well. I think I might be more tempted to just mirror out and do the full left side and check all of those things, but... And I gotta say, no big key yet, but we are looking far more stylish than we did when we walked into Ganon's Tower with our shiny new red armor and a very magical cape.
Not but a couple minutes ago. And Scrubcasual finishing off the Trine X and will be on his way here into Turtle Rock in or Ganon's Tower in just a moment.
So check number 13 coming up on Bob's chest. Rip Bob, by the way.
As Nobly heads into Ice Armos with the Silver Arrows, this will be a nice quick fight for him. And Scrub, where are you going?
Has Scrub forgotten this is a 6/6 seed?
Very possible. That's one of the disadvantages of throwing 6/6 at someone is sometimes they'll forget that that's actually the goal.
Yeah, and it was definitely discussed in the IRC room before the race started, so...
Yeah, but there are things that you can forget in an hour and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you haven't played much of the sort of V31 alternate modes, that it's not really at the forefront of your mind. And there is our big key finally at chest number 17, is that? 18, I think.
Well, we can do math backwards. There's 5 chests left between 4 in randomizer room and 1 on the fire snake room. So if I can do 22 minus 5, that's 17.
Yeah, but you're off by 1, right? Because it's 19, 20, 21, 22 are going to be in rando room, so 18 is coming up right here. Yes, no, you're right. Woo! I can't do math. Never mind.
Hooray for math!
Nobly will go ahead and finish the left side here, still looking for that Master Sword.
And no dice. Do you check the Ganon's Tower big chest here now?
It appears the answer is yes, so is another argument for getting back to Ice Armos along the full left side, because you knew you would sort of still be on your way to them once you found the big key. But it's just
Yeah, so this
bonk
pathing kind of
that
has at
health
least
out.
its advantage in that. So you just travel up here and you're right at the big key. So yeah, kind of like that.
And Ganon with the mind games, leaving a single rupee in the big chest.
Here you go, just for you, a oneer. Gonna have to hope that there's a sword that bails him out here up in the top 4 chests of Ganon's Tower here.
And yeah, it looks like Scrubcasual has forgotten about the Ganon's Tower entrance requirement here. So is making these last few checks going to dip into Desert Palace, check out what there is to be found in here, as Nobly continues the climb up Ganon's Tower.
Yes, and Scrubcasual's still not out yet until Nobly finds that sword, which we only know of the 1 in pod right now, and for all we know, Scrubcasual finds the other 2 in his hunt for this ether medallion that may not even turn up.
On the subject of forgetting about things, our runners were in the light world so long ago, they might not be thinking about Sahasrara, right? You might sort of forget that you didn't get that because you just make that check so early in the game so often that you might just sort of assume that you've already been there. Now, Scrubcasual's map tracker should help him out with that one, but
We'll have to see. And he found ether, so he's going to go right into Mire and get his unnecessary 7th crystal.
Nobly gets 2 of those silver arrows into the Landmo heads, and then gets the 3rd one in after the first cycle, so very nicely done.
So hopefully for Scrubcasual, he gets a Godmire out of here and can get up to Ganon's Tower quickly and get going.
That looks like
I think it's
Scrubcasual
just
just
hit him.
remembered the settings.
It looks like he just had that moment of, wait, what am I doing?
So Nobly checking those 2 chests in the mini Helma room and not finding a sword. So only 2 chests left for where that sword might be in Ganon's Tower, or we're going to have to go looking elsewhere.
Well, unfortunately, down to 1 now. Will the validation chest bail out Nobly?
Very solid hammer fight on Moldorm 2.
No bailing out today.
Nobly has definitely had some opinions about those chests, not afraid to leave bombs behind to show his displeasure. I still think Nobly has played this exactly right. I mean, you can still get through Aga 2, breaking out the swag net. Gets the double with it. Very nicely done. I think just one more hit on Aga 2 at this point. Ooh, just missed that one. So Nobly has completed Ganon's Tower, and we'll just have to scour what's left of the overworld or those pendant dungeons to look for those one of those 2 remaining swords. Let's see, we do have Pyramid Fairy as an option.
Which Scrubcasual has checked, and there is not a sword there.
All right.
But Nobly does not know that.
He
I
might
was hoping
just...
that there was a sword to bail him out there.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful. Might just head over to the Eastern Pod area right now and hopefully check
Maybe
Sahasrahla. So,
yeah.
I was going to say, so Jinxie Girl doesn't have a stroke on us. Scrubcasual. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, Scrubcasual finding that big key pretty quickly, opting for just Hope Room and then full left after that, so is on the way up Ganon's Tower, and we'll see what Nobly opts for next.
Maybe a Flute to 5, Pod into Eastern play.
He did find that mushroom somewhere in Ganon's Tower, so this is a pretty quick check with the flute. Of course, has the upside that you can restock on potions if you know you're headed into a Master Sword Ganon fight.
There's the sword for Nobly.
Oh my goodness. Mushroom.
Oh, wow. Nobly, get your butt over to Ganon and kill that pig as soon as you can.
Just picking up a couple of blue potions, and we'll head back toward the Ganon fight.
Remembering that he does have that portal that he left over by the 5 flute spots, so we use that to get back to the pig area.
I mean, even with silvers, this is still a serious Master Sword Ganon fight that Nobly's got to get through, so...
Yeah, he at least has the cape, half magic, red mail, a bunch of potions, so shouldn't be too bad, but it's going to be a bit of a slog, as Master Sword Ganon usually tends to be, but at least you have those silver arrows.
That last Landmo given Scrubcasual a short hop there, unfortunately, so the silver arrow missed. Nobly did get some nice double spins in there when Ganon was close to those walls. I think we should be about, yep, just through the first phase now. So opting for Cape Strats and is going to just grab onto that wall to conserve magic when he can't be attacking Ganon. And now phase 3. Was not quite able to stop those fire bats from coming out on that particular Ganon warp. It's always a little bit tricky to do with the Master Sword, but...
But hey, at least you have cape, and you don't even really have to worry about bother dodging them too much.
Ooh, that was a lot of fire over by that left torch, but Nobly dodging his way through that.
Just a couple more arrows into the big pig, and Nobly will be done with this.
Ooh, just missing the triple there. And gets Silver Arrow number 4 into Ganon. And just has to deal with this bridge into the Triforce room. Get your GGs in chat for Nobly. Nicely done navigating most of that seed with the Fighter Sword. And officially finishes with an SRL time of... check the SRL, 1:37:39. Wait, no, sorry, 1:38:59. Ha!
I was going to say, that's a little bit off.
Yeah, maybe I should look at that giant timer on my screen. That could be a thing I could do. So we
Scrub
will...
was about to head into Aga. Looks like he has forfeited.
Yeah, definitely a close race, and we will get our runners into chat here. I heard some Discord noise.
Well, hello.
Nobly, welcome to chat, and GG, well run.
Oh, horrible.
That was a seed.
That was something, indeed. Something I did not feel great about at all.
Yeah, you want to talk to us about the that fighter sword Ganon's tower there?
Oh, Jesus, I was so hoping for a sword. I could not believe that there was no swords in GT. Or there was with the mushroom though, but
A very, very out of the way sword.
oh yeah.
The only other sword that we knew about was one that Scrubcasual had picked up, and that was in the back of Pod.
Yeah, that was not so fun.
Yeah, I guess we were pretty much down to Meyer, maybe, or something in the Eastern Palace Green Pendant chain, so...
And I don't think
Yeah.
anyone ever checked Dark Cross, so...
Yeah, my next guess was gonna be doing the 5-6 bomb after Mushroomman's shovel.
Yeah, we did see that on Scrubcasual's side during that unfortunate few minutes where he forgot it was a 6-6 seed, so...
Yeah, I heard about that. That's one of the things I like with 6-6. Because it can throw your opponent forgetting that it's 6-6. And then he just runs around a bunch of times. And I've seen it happen so many times, and that's why I picked 6-6. Basically.
Yeah, and even if they, are thinking about it the whole time, if you're not used to running 6-6 seeds, that can really change a lot of the strategy. So it's definitely good to sort of throw a curveball after that first race.
Yeah, there's two things majorly I felt bad about in my game. And the first one was dying next to Stumpy in the Dark World early.
Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate.
Because that changed my route away from the boots. And when I came back later, found boots, I was like, oh, freaking hell, I could have had this a lot earlier if I didn't die in a horrible location. And then I found the Titans next to it. I was like, oh my god, I'm behind. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna water walk because I don't think that Scrubcasual is gonna do that. So I was determined to get the red cane and go instantly into Meyer. And then I saw that Ether was locking Meyer. I was like, oh well, that's not good. So I decided, you know what, Dark that mountain and check if I need that bombos, because if I need bombos for Turtle Rock, I'm just gonna go grab bombos as soon as I get Master Sword and go instantly into Turtle Rock or do something stupid because I felt so behind. And then I saw the Quake, I was like, oh, well, I'll do the Super Bunny and Hookshot, and then I'll go in and get Fire Locked. Fire Rod. No, I had Fire Rod by that.
Fire Rod was in Super Bunny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so when I found that, I was like, okay, no doubt. I'm either gonna find Ice Rod or Ether in TR, so if I do that, I can go mode the rest and be happy with that, because my opponent will not go mode Swamp and Ice, I assumed. So
Yeah, that's right, because he had found Mitts earlier than you, so had Flippers earlier, and then he was headed into Ice and Swamp about the time you were headed back up Death Mountain. But yeah, that's interesting that you were planning on doing that that Fighter Sword Meyer, but the medallions just didn't want to cooperate with you on that one.
yeah, well, I had silver, so it wouldn't be any problem at that point, though.
Which, by the way, Scrub did actually find the Ether Medallion. It was just inside of Desert.
Yeah, I heard. I was like, oh god, that was crazy. I was like, this could have gone so many ways in so short time.
Yeah,
And
depending on where you looked, you could have skipped either Meyer or Turtle Rock, so...
yeah, depending on what you found first. Because if you found the Ether and had the Flippers, then you could just go Meyer. if you went into Turtle Rock after, which was basically a dumb play because you had to go up the mountain to get flippers, to go down the mountain to get Ice Rod, which was why I said I'm so far behind. This has to be the stupidest thing to do, and if it pays off, I'm gonna be ahead. So, and luckily for me, it paid off this time. And last seed we played was fairly close as well. The only thing was he had boots a little bit earlier, and I last located like 3 items, which was shovel in Skull Woods, fire rod on shovel spot, and flute and pendant ice palace cold snare. So that was not fun.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting race to watch because, especially at the beginning, both of you were sort of opting for different sequence breaks and really different routing. So it was really hard to tell quite who was ahead for most of that race.
Yeah. The thing is, I was gonna do Mini Moldorm and go to the dams, and then I was gonna go to Agina. But then I went to Mini Moldorm and I found, oh, here's the Moon Pearl. Okay, so let's do it like this then. We'll do Mini Moldorm, Ice Road Cave, then we go do the what's it called? Waterfall. Check the island by the Sora Ledge, and then do Hobo. And then I saw Red Cane on the floating island. Was happy with that. And then I was like, okay, let's do what's it called? The dams, and then Agina after. But then I saw my bomb count, and I was like, oh, I should really go to CAC and get some more bombs and stuff. And then I found the glove in the dam, and I was like, oh, if I had this earlier, I could just go into Dark World when I was in CAC. How stupid. And then I was like, after that, I was like a little bit behind feeding all the time. So try to do some smart plays like going to hype and onwards towards the digging game, but died on the way. So yeah, I think routing wise was good, but finding that lamp actually, that also pissed me off.
That lamp was ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen lamp in Spike Cave before. You see a lot of crazy things in Rando, but I think that's a new one on me.
Yeah. And with my slightly change of plans, I was like, when I picked up the lamp, I had to stop and think for a couple of seconds. And I was like, okay, so bow, they are out of logic. I need a flute. So I don't actually want to go to find the flute in Eastern or Pod. And then I said, you know what? It's either gonna be Sora, Agina, or the Pyramid for flute, or Thieves Town, or those outcast checks. So I was like, okay, I'll do Thieves Town. Found the flute and was decent happy about that. Could activate it at least instantly. So overall, it was a fun seed to play. It was a little bit annoying that I died in stupid places. Could have been 5-10 minutes earlier, I guess. If I didn't die in stupid locations, get boots, get the meats.
Who knows? Because those deaths really just kind of change your routing, and you don't know what decisions you would have made had you found those items in the order that you would have found them not dying.
Yeah, I would definitely just go straight to Thieves Town and do the Smith chain, and then go instantly to Maya afterwards, I think. So, either way, it was a fun seed, and we're gonna play a third seed. I'm not sure if he's gonna change something, so hopefully he will keep the 6-6 and change something else. Or if he wants to remove the 6-6, that's fine with me as well. Hopefully he will put in a map compass shuffle. That would be amazing. Oh, he's putting it back to 6-7-7. That wasn't hard, right?
Can't blame him.
Yeah, then I can get my revenge on that open seed I screwed up earlier. It's gonna be fun either how. Hopefully it will be equally close as this and the other one.
Yeah, these have been great races to watch. So everyone out there in chat, keep your eyes open for that Game 3 between Nobly and Scrubcasual. Any final thoughts, Amaranth or Nobly?
Thank you so much, Jinxie Girl, and the commentators and the tracker for coming in on the short times and doing the restreams. It was amazing to be restreamed. Hopefully, we will have more time later. And good luck on the matches, everyone else watching, and yours.